Welcome back, viewers. We're firmly into the reassembly now, which is nice. So if you remember, all of the body is being done and is pretty much back to factory, which is great. Shocks are on, reassembled, and they're on. Rear subframe is on and torqued in place. Diff is on and in place. Prop is on and torqued in place. The PFF is on, but it's not aligned yet. So I've never done a car like this before, but this brace here, which connects him obviously to the gearbox, has to be aligned correctly. So I'm gonna have to research how to do that and get that done, but I'll leave that till later. Fuel tank is on in there somewhere, all hidden away and lovely restored, which is very nice. Fuel lines are on, obviously. Fuel system's in place, not tested yet, but fingers crossed everything works. So that's that lot. Anti-roll bar in place. Okay, along the front, not quite finished yet, but front subframe is in place. Wow, that was a bitch to put in place. Kudos for my bro to coming down to help me, because I couldn't have done it myself. I'm just not strong enough anymore to lift this into place. Getting old, viewers. Front shocks in place, steering rack in place, everything torqued up as per Mazda, bar in place, touched up some bits here and there, and that's it. So I suppose it's now time to start putting the suspension arms, the wishbones and the hubs and the carriers and the drive shafts and the bearings and all that good gubbins in place. One lesson I learnt from doing this a long time ago was that when you put it on, you must leave it all untorqued, not the wishbones. In fact, regards torques, viewers, I found it quite hard to find all the torques required. I mean, you can get books like that, other ones are available, which is great. Thanks for Brendan for lending me that. But they don't cover a lot of the stuff you need. Things that aren't really supposed to come off, like subframes and fuel tanks and stuff. It's almost impossible to find those torques. So I've done the best I can, and I'm keeping a log of everything that I've done and checked everything's torqued to the specifications. What was I saying? So that's all done, but as the wishbones start to go on now, it's important to leave them untorqued, so they're just sloppy. And then you have to either drop the car down, which is suboptimal if you're tall and have a bad back. The best thing to do is then to jack each corner up to ride height, or a good estimate of ride height. And then torque them there in place, because otherwise it just simply won't work. It'll overstress everything, so that's something to remember. Now, I've done my best to put all this back in place, but it's almost impossible to get it millimetre perfect, obviously, so every time it all goes back, it goes back in a different place, so all the wheels will be out of alignment. So I'll align them as best I can, and then I'll have to take them for a proper laser alignment, obviously, so that they work properly. That's it. I shall crack on, viewers. It's going okay, no major problems, which is good. No big bolts snapped, and no major setbacks. Welcome back, viewers. It's going pretty swimmingly, to be honest. So rear suspension, all of the sub-assemblies are on, including the drive shafts now. Nothing's torqued yet, because as I said, everything has to remain loose until it's at ride height, and then I'll torque it all up. The drive shafts aren't seated properly, but I'll do that later on. When I've got the brakes on, I need the brakes on to do that, don't I? So yeah, it's on and kind of dangling loose, and no major problems. Some of the bushing, I used cheap bushings, which is a stupid idea, and some of them didn't fit. You can see there's washers, fit here fine, but the ones up there didn't fit, so I had to carve them all out, which took ages. But anyway, it's done now. All of the bolts went in fine. Yeah, that's it. So that's nice. So I guess the next thing to do would be, I don't know actually, probably put a cup of tea on and have a think about it, I imagine, but probably going to start at the front now, front suspension, and then think about doing the brakes. I don't know, I'll get back to you. Welcome back, viewers. Ta-da! Sorry, I haven't been updating recently. I've just been so busy, desperately trying to get this thing put together, and I can't remember where we left off, but I think last time I'd reported in, we'd just put the rear suspensions on, which went on absolutely fine. Always a little bit awkward doing it on your own, but got it done. Yeah, so rear suspensions on and done, and the rear drivetrain all on, as well as that. Brakes, I've gone on the hubs. Gone on all fine, no problems at all. Put a new rear section on the exhaust just because the old one was ugly and rusting, obviously. Didn't do the middle section because it's got the cat in it, and it's really hard to get them, and they're probably really expensive to get them legal, so we'll do that. I've put all of the geometry in a neutral kind of factory setup, so that would presumably have to go and be aligned now, a laser aligner, so I'll get that booked in. The PPF, the powertrain bar here, is now connected all sides, and it's aligned at 66mm, so it has to follow the chassis rail, it turns out, 66mm up all the way along, and that ensures that all of the universal joints are exactly straight, so there's no tension on the drivetrain. So that's done, that's great. So rear brake lines have gone on, which are new brake lines, obviously, braided brake lines, which were like 3 feet too long for some reason, so I've had to just coil it round in the engine bay like that for the extra 3 feet. I've no idea what that's all about, but anyway, that's a thing. Diffs on, obviously, and all good. I need to put the fluid in, that's the last thing I need to do today. I've tested the engine and the engine works, so that's always a good sign. Front suspension, double wishbone front, so it's always a little bit fiddly, an awful lot of ball joints and stuff to deal with. But it's all done. Every bolt is torqued up to manufacturer specification, obviously, and checked, and all of this was done sprung as well, as it should be, which was interesting, doing it on a 2-post ramp actually. I've never done it before like that, so there you go. Front calipers on and everything done and bled and tested, so that's great. All the bushes obviously fine. Steering rack. Oh, doesn't it look lovely, viewers? Like new. Down here, done the tracking as best I can, but again I'll get it checked by a garage. We've got the equipment, anti-roll bars, brakes here. Yeah, all my strengthening bars on, everything torqued up there. So that's it really, just got to give it a final check and put the bodywork back on, the bumpers and all the splash guards and stuff like that. But otherwise, look at that, the shell is just like a brand new car. So cool. Remember, all this is rusted through, completely rusted through. It's now, well, brand new metal basically. So it's amazing what you can do, isn't it? Yeah, let's do a nice long shot. Ta-da! I could have replaced loads of stuff with loads of new stuff, but I want to keep costs down for this car. Yeah, that's it. That's the end of the project. I'll complete it. Oh yes, sorry, that's one other thing. Obviously, because of how I had to put these, I haven't been able to do these bits here. So what I'll do is I'll get everything on, back on, all the bodywork, wheels, everything on, lower it down, turn the car around so that these bits are exposed now, and then just finish those off. It'll only take a few hours just to get that done and all painted up. But yeah, glad I did it. All lovely and new. Right, I hope you enjoyed that, and bye-bye.